Hello and welcome to another episode of Guitar Rescue. Today we're going to rescue a Gibson SG. We're going to do a little setup on it and a couple other little modifications. But before we get started, I want to say hi to any members of the Guitar League out there around the country that might be watching. And if you haven't already, or anybody watching and you haven't, please subscribe to my channel. Hit the little bell. We'll let you know. We'll notify you when there's new content coming up. And hit the like button if you like it. That sure would help. I'm trying to expand my channel a little bit. There's all things guitars on here. There's a little luthery. There's some guitar lessons. There's some cover songs. It's all here. So, and it's free. So come on in. Okay, so today, before we get started on this little SG, I'm going to show you a couple of other things real quick. This is an Epiphone SG that came to me with a broken headstock. It was broken right off this guitar. And we fixed this up. We put 2 oak splines inside this neck. This neck is now stronger than it was when it came from the factory. We did a full body wrap on this. We used this guitar in a Eric Clapton retrospective show. I don't know if you can see that up there, but you probably can't. But anyway, back in 2019, I call these guitars that I make, I call them resemblers. They're not exactly copies, like this is not a copy of The Fool, but it certainly resembles Eric Clapton's guitar, The Fool. So we'll maybe have a video on this. Unfortunately, I didn't tape all the work that went into that. Then we also did a resembler for a Neil Young show that this is like Neil Young's Old Black, only this is an Epiphone and not a Gibson, a 53 Les Paul. You know, so it's a little less expensive. But oh shit. Hold on. Uh-oh. That's crazy. Okay, we're back. We had a little equipment failure there. Okay, so before we start taking this apart, I want to show you this guitar. This is a Gibson SG Special, I believe it is. This is the worn cherry color. This thing is really relic. I don't think it's fake relic. I think this guitar has been used. I believe that it has new frets in it. These are the highest frets I've ever seen, but they're awesome. This guitar has the mojo. And if you're looking for a humbucker experience, you know, and not spend a fortune on a guitar, I highly recommend an SG. And I would recommend that you get an SG that has the classic tuners on it and not the Grovers, so that you don't have the neck dip. Okay, so today what we're going to do is we are going to restring it, clean it up a little bit, but we're going to do the Billy Gibbins wrap of the bridge, okay? And there's a couple reasons why we're going to do that. One is if you can set the bridge flat on the body of the guitar, you're going to have more sustain throughout the whole thing. You'll feel it vibrate even more on the headstock, which is what you should be listening to when you're out buying a guitar. Can you feel it? I can feel it right now vibrating up here a lot. This guitar's got so much sustain already. Okay, so we're going to lower the bridge. We're going to wrap the strings over the top. And that, like I said, that allows us to bring the bridge flat against the body. It gives us a better angle, which is going to reduce the stress on the strings, so it'll make it feel like you got lighter strings on it. And also another big problem these things have is when you try to put the bridge down, the string will hit the back of the saddle. And no matter, you're adjusting it, you're trying to get the intonation and nothing's changing. So all of a sudden you realize, well, that string is hitting the back of the saddle. So we don't want that to happen. So there's like 3 good reasons why we're going to do this. Okay, when we take the strings off, we are hopefully going to save the little balls that are on these strings, because then we're going to add the balls to the new strings so that they have 2 balls on them. And they're going to go in the other way, and you won't have this the end of the string where it's wrapped, it's really sharp, and you don't want that against your hand. So you want to keep the, because this bridge is a very thin bridge. The newer ones are a lot fatter, and you may not need to do that. But on this puppy, you do. So we're going to take a break. We're going to get the strings off of here, and we'll go from there, and then we'll come back and show you where we are. Okay, we're back. We've taken off the strings. We cut the little balls off the strings. I have them in here. I'll show you later what we're going to do with those. I wanted to take a look under the pick guard to see what was in here, and these look like really good humbucking pickups. This one says 57 Classic on it, and it's got a date of 11/29/2010. And the other one was wound by PS, whoever that is. Then there's some initials inside the guitar. There's a WC in the front. I don't know what that represents. And in the back cutout here, there's an SGSC. I'm not sure what those things mean. But, as I said, this guitar has some super mojo. So the saddle actually was on backwards. So I'm going to put it on the correct way. So I centered everything in the saddle right now, so I'm going to have to intonate it all when I'm done. Everything is ready to go back together. I'm going to string the new strings with the balls, and I'll show you how we do that. And I'm going to put the pick guard back on. I also oiled the fretboard while we're waiting here. So that's where we are so far. I'll get right back to you. Here's another crucial tip. I added a little oil, fret oil down to the truss rod, let it soak, stand up on its side for a minute, and then I went around and I tightened the tuners, and these tuners were literally all the way off. So I had to tighten them like, 5-6 turns down, so they were very loose. So that also causes rattles and less sustain. And then I went around and tightened up the back to these tuners. And as I said, these are the kind of tuners you'd like to get on an SG. Otherwise, you've got neck dip, which is when you're standing up with a strap, the neck wants to go down. So we will be right back. Okay, so now we're getting ready to restring it. We are going to use Ernie balls, regular Slinkies, 10 to 46, and we're going to add balls to the Ernie balls. So we're going to have 2 on each string, okay? And the reason that you need to do that, you might think you don't, and I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but the way these are wrapped, this little sharp piece right here will stick out and be on the palm of your hand and cut it or irritate it. So we're going to add a ball to it. So what we do here is we string it like beads. We saved the balls from the last one, strings that we took off. And now we're just going to string them on here like a bead down to the bottom. So now you're going to see the little brass stick out, but believe it or not, you do need to do this on this really thin bridge. Some of the newer bridges are a lot fatter, and you wouldn't need to do the double ball deal. I know it looks a little weird, but it's better than having it stab you. So I'm going to put all of them on here first and then put it on and wrap it, and I'll be right back. So I wanted to start by just putting 2 strings. I got all the strings through the bridge, but I put 2 strings over the saddle. I put the 2 E strings on. I don't usually do it this way, but I wanted to keep the bridge straight, because it just clips in underneath a couple of screws back here. So I won't bore you with stringing strings, but this is what we're doing. I put all the strings through. Now we're going to wrap them over the top, and we're going to tighten them up, and then we're going to have to do a bunch of adjustments to the intonation. We'll be back. Okay, here's where we are so far. We put the strings back on it. We have the bridge sitting flush, as flush as it does. It's got a little hump in it, so it sits flush on the body. We've put the saddle on the correct way, facing the correct way. We've centered it. We lowered it down. I'm working on the action. I think I got it where I want it. I checked the intonation. I think I just got lucky where it is. I might move it a teeny bit, but right now I can't find it to be unintonated or de-intonated, whatever the word might be. Also going around and checking things for looseness. The jack for the plug was loose. We tightened that up. I told you about the tuners. I'm going to look at the electronics right now while the strings are kind of stretching out a little bit, and then we'll come right back and finish it up. Okay, we're back. We're finished. We did the Billy Gibbins wrap on the bridge. We got it set up pretty good. Intonation's 99% there. It needs a little more work. But this guitar is not a looker. This guitar is a player. As I mentioned, it's got some mojo. And like a lot of SGs, you can get a lot of sounds out of these because you've got 2 volume controls, 2 tone controls, and a 3-way switch. You can get a lot of different tone. As Eric Clapton would have told you, you've got the woman tone, as he calls it. You can crank up the treble a little bit and get a whole different thing. Anyway, we're just piddling around here. But overall, I think it sounds pretty good, looks pretty good. And now you know how to do the famous Billy Gibbins wrap. So we will see you in the next guitar rescue. And who knows what we're going to rescue then. And don't forget, please subscribe to the channel if you like it. Thanks. See you in the next video.